We're glad you're here with us today. We're going to talk about why you procrastinate and how to stop it. We love being able to share with you different ideas on why you procrastinate and how to stop it. Everyone procrastinates. It is something that across the board, all of us can fall into this. And it's easy to fall into it. Join us as we share with you the 3 ways to stop it. Make sure and stay with us till the end because we want to share a free gift with you.
So the first way to stop procrastination is remember this concept: resist or rise. Many times we're in resistance to something that we are up against, that we're working on. We're resistant. And when we are resistant, we are going to procrastinate. So I want to share with you something that I always teach clients when I'm working with them. Whatever you resist will persist. And as long as we're in resistance to something, it's going to stick around. It's almost like Chinese handcuffs. The stronger you fight against it, the tighter it grips you, and you cannot be free of that. And the more you resist, the more you will procrastinate because you begin to not love what you're doing. So let go of your resistance. Go into acceptance. This is something that needs to happen. I get to do this, and engage. And as you do that, you will not even be tempted to procrastinate because you're engaged. You're going to accomplish this.
So we want to rise rather than resist. We want to rise. And when we rise, we stay in accomplishment mentality. But it's hard to stay there if you're not sure how to get there. Some of the best things and the best tool that we've ever used with clients, whether it's one-on-one or whole companies and whole organizations, is to do an accomplishment journal or an accomplishment list. This can happen on your cell phone, and you go through and you write down 3 things every day that you accomplished. This becomes your accomplishment list. It becomes your proof. When we can get into accomplishment mentality, we are more effective, more productive, and more intentional. So we have better success. We get more done. We have more accolades and people proud of us and people telling us how great we are, right? Because we like that attaboys. We like that pat on the back. And so when we can stay in accomplishment mentality, we get more done and we have a better life. We're more successful. So when you can rise to that level rather than resist, you will be in accomplishment mentality. And to get there, you just have to make your own list. Be able to write those down and start recognizing them. There are days when get out of bed was your accomplishment. And it can be rough. There's also days when it's, I wrote a book. Those are our high points too. So it doesn't have to always be some major, huge thing. In fact, a lot of our clients, I will start them out with a list of 100 that they have to do overnight. They have to come up with 100 accomplishments in their life. And it can be, I walked early. It can be accomplishments that you had when you were young and before the time you have right now. Now that you know to do it, go back and think about some of the accomplishments you've done. I mean, when was the last time that you had the accomplishment mentality around you wrote a book? It's been what, 3 years?
Yes, but as I reflect on it, it's still, I did this. I finished this. Wouldn't my teachers be surprised?
You did have a teacher that was surprised.
I did. You wrote a book?
And she loved it. That was awesome.
The accomplishment is huge. Another thing you can do, just a little tip of something that will only take maybe 10 minutes. There are days when things do not go your way. In fact, you might find yourself saying, I'd be further ahead if I had stayed in bed today. When you have a day like that, or you just are so in the dumps that it's hard to think of accomplishments, go to your knife and fork drawer and just take 10 minutes and organize that thing. You can even take a before and after picture. You don't have to post it on social media, but you can say, look what I did. I did something and that looks awesome now that that's organized. It may seem simple, simplistic, stupid even, but what it does for your self-esteem and your belief in yourself will change your life.
We would love to know when you have felt resistance. When have you felt like you're in that resistance, and what did you do to get out of it? When were you able to rise? We would love for you to comment in the comments below. We love to read those. We like to go through those and answer you and stuff on those comments. So if you will comment below, we would love to hear When were you in resistance?
The second way that you can avoid and stop procrastinating is to dump your emotional garbage. Emotional garbage, emotional heaviness can be one of the big reasons that keeps us procrastinating, because we're carrying so much pain and weight that we just can't vision ourselves getting up and doing anything else or moving forward. Now, that emotional garbage that I'm talking about could be traumas, unresolved issues in your life, stress, all of these things. Find a way and a means to get rid of this emotional garbage, because sometimes you go through life, it's like, I just can't get my project done. I just can't get it. I don't know why I can't get it. Notice and ask yourself, am I carrying a lot of emotional garbage? Am I carrying a lot of heavy emotions? Am I sad? Am I angry? Am I depressed? Get through and work through that emotional garbage, and you'll find yourself much lighter and have the energy to move forward. And as you do that, you will find that you are no longer procrastinating.
Emotional garbage and emotional blockage is the same thing. When we have those emotional blockages in our way, they do hold us back. They do keep us from moving forward. I know for a lot of people, they feel like that those who haven't experienced depression don't understand it. Well, I can tell you I understand depression. I had a father that had depression. I had a twin brother that committed suicide after depression, and I have lived it. But I never came out of depression until I made the decision to do life different. Nobody else could fix me. Nobody else could say, oh, take this pill, oh, do this, oh, do that. I had to choose for myself that I wanted that emotional blockage to be gone. And I had to start from way down deep within to work my way out. And I know when we get anxiety and stress and all these different emotions happening, we have to recognize them. We have to get to the bottom and the core of that and be able to move forward. So when we're talking about emotional blockage, emotional garbage, make sure that you can get to the core of it where you can move through it, because nobody else is going to change how you feel. You are, and you have to be the one that takes care of that. That will be the fastest thing to get you to stop procrastinating, is to take care of that emotional blockage. Before our third point, I want to ask you to subscribe. I think it's the best thing that you could possibly do. Our NSA Mountain West chapter of speakers is phenomenal, and there is so much content, so many great things. All these people are about changing lives and making things better. You don't want to miss a video. So subscribe below so that you can be part of our group and that you're part of our community.
So the third reason, and I think this can be one of the most powerful ones, is to focus on your why. When you're procrastinating on a project, on something you're working on, get clear on what your why is, your reason to do it. Now, focus on that, and procrastination becomes a thing of low importance, a thing of the past that is not holding you back.
When you can think about your why, and your why is big enough, like, why are you doing this? A lot of times people say, why are you a speaker? Well, I want to change lives. And when I see lives changed, it's huge. When I see marriages saved, when I see businesses be more productive and more profitable, that's huge for me. It's not all in the paycheck. It's in how I feel. It's my why. When I can go and do things that I know is going to support my family and my children, my grandchildren, my husband, that is my why. When you can find out what your why is, and you can make sure you can see it, like visualize it. You can have a vision board, you can have pictures, you can have different ways that you see it on a regular basis. I like to listen to things that help me with my why and be able to have the audio as well as the visual. There are different ways that will help different people. So find out what it is to keep your why in front of you and why it can be as big as possible so that you can get out of procrastination. When the why is big enough and you want to change the world or you want to help your family, it doesn't matter what you have to do it. You'll do it. You'll do anything for a loved one. You'll do anything to get to that if it's big enough.
Absolutely. When the why is big enough, the reason doesn't matter. The how doesn't matter. When the why is big enough, you've heard of mothers lifting a car off their child because their why was big enough.
I was going to say we should talk about you running a marathon because that why was big enough, but that's right about the time your eyes were leaking.
That's right. So,
Tell us about your marathon because that was something
that was my
that
why, is
became
the
a
only
big
thing that
thing.
kept me going. So at 48 years old, I reset a goal to run a marathon just out of high school. I'm going to run a marathon. And I started training, and 2 weeks before the marathon, I was doing really good. But I was just doing my own little program, what I thought I knew everything at 18 years old, and I injured myself and tore the cartilage in my knees and was not able to run my marathon. And then after that, life happened to me, and I never got back to it, but always kept coming back to that. I didn't accomplish that goal. I wanted to run a marathon. So when I was 48 years old, I finally made that decision. I am going to run a marathon. Not in shape at all. So I had to start from zero and quite overweight. And spent a year training for that marathon. And it was tough. I didn't start by running 5Ks and then 10Ks and then half marathons. No, I just dove into the deep end of the pool. The first race I ever ran was a
marathon.
26.2 mile marathon.
Good, it wasn't a 26.1.
Yeah. Almost. I almost made it. But it was tough. There were days I didn't want to go down and get on the treadmill or the elliptical. There were days I didn't want to go out in the rain or the snow and jog. And there were days I just didn't feel like going out for a run. But every time I started to feel like this, I created a little home movie. I made a home movie in my head about my marathon. And here's what I visualized. I visualized myself running up to that finish line after 26.2 grueling miles and seeing my wife, my 3 sons, and my daughter cheering me on. And in that little movie in my head, they were all smiles and they were so proud of their dad. And anytime I wanted to slow down, quit, or not do it, all I had to do was press the play button, let that movie start playing. And that became my why. And that got me through everything.
As you can see, when you take it to heart and your why is big enough,
What lives in here, you'll do it.
you'll do whatever it takes.
Find your why. When your why is big enough, the how doesn't matter.
One of the things that sets us back with procrastination and our why is fear. Fear is an acronym. And one of those is face everything and rise. We talked about rising. When you will face everything and rise, you will get out of procrastination. You will stop it at its core. We hope that you've enjoyed being with us today, hearing how to get out of procrastination. It does affect all of us, but it doesn't have to. You can control it. Thanks for being here. We love being able to be here with you on this channel. We promised you a free gift, and we would love for you to get that. Go to our website, allthingspossible.biz. Again, that's allthingspossible.biz. And you can get the Peer Guide for free. The Peer Guide is an acronym for Productive, Intentional, Effective Resilience. This is the best of the best that we've been doing for years. We've been teaching, training, and working with organizations. We want you to have the Peer Process Guide so that you can see all of the content that's involved with that and the ways that your life can change. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time right here